Christians sometimes wear t-shirts saying Jesus saves. And sometimes atheists reply, Jesus slaves.
Ooh, rush me to the burn unit.
But maybe the atheists have a point. It seems like bringing God into your life could only limit your freedom, right? Well, Jesus disagrees. He insists that he hasn't come to take our freedom because we don't have any. In a famous passage about freedom, Jesus says, "Whoever sins is a slave to sin." And that means all of us. We're all addicted to being in charge, addicted to being right, addicted to short-term pleasures that only end up enslaving us. In our bid for independence, we run away from our home in God and we get lost. Like the prodigal son from Luke 15, far from home, we've chased a false view of freedom and have only wound up enslaved.
That's because freedom is not about making your own truth, it's about submitting to it. We often think that freedom means not having any restrictions on what we do, but true freedom is not the absence of restrictions, it's the presence of the right restrictions that fit with the givenness of your nature. So for example, you'll often hear people say that if you put your mind to it, you can do anything you want.
I can fly! Anybody can fly! If you believe in yourself, the way I believe in myself tonight, you will fly!
And what's next for Charlie Sanders and the Orange?
Kids! You can actually fly!
Not literally.
Yes! Literally, kids, young kids. I want you to go up on your roofs right now.
Wait, what?
Fly into the night sky.
Okay.
People will see you flying, and you can do anything. You can do anything.
That makes for a great motivational talk, but you also need to face reality.
First and foremost, I just want to say to the 12 families who lost children, I'm sorry. My statements were irresponsible. I have subsequently looked up the terms literally and metaphorically, and found that whereas I was not incorrect, they did not mean what I thought they meant.
The 5'0", 115-pound guy is never going to be a champion sumo wrestler, nor is he likely to make prop forward on the rugby team. It just won't happen, and he'd be wasting his time chasing it. None of us are really free to do anything we want. There are always restrictions. As you get older, your doctor will tell you can't just eat anything you want anymore. You need to restrict your freedom to eat certain foods in order to be released into the freedom of good health. Similarly, a musician who wants to excel at their instrument is not free to use their time as they wish. They must restrict themselves now in order to be released into the freedom of performance later. If there's an ant who longs for release from the ant farm, they might end up regretting it.
The ant is in its element in the ant farm, and we are in our element in a relationship with God. To know freedom, we need to come home. That's what Jesus says in this same part of John chapter 8. He says, if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. We are like that prodigal son in the pigsty, and Jesus is the true Son who has come on a rescue mission to bring us home. And that's where we find true freedom. We find it in a relationship with someone we love. Mumford & Sons sang about a love that will not betray you, dismay or enslave you, but will set you free to be more like the man you were made to be. That's the love that Jesus has come to bring. From the outside, it might look like a restriction to come home to a relationship. But if you're on the inside of this relationship, it feels like love.
In many countries, when you're serious about your other half, it's traditional to buy a lock and engrave both your initials on it. Then you put the lock on a bridge and throw the key into the river. You're saying, I belong to you and you belong to me. And that's good. Although sometimes people put a combination lock on the bridge. I'm not sure what that signifies. Something like, as soon as I figure this thing out, I'm out of here. But we all recognise that love means belonging to the other person and holding tight to that person through thick and thin. From the outside, that relationship might look restrictive, but on the inside, the two people in love happily say, I belong to you and you belong to me. It doesn't feel like slavery, it's freedom. The kind of freedom found in true love.
So often when it comes to freedom, we feel like we are the solution and God is the problem. We feel like we need to liberate ourselves and God could only cramp our style. Jesus says it's the other way around. We enslave ourselves, sabotaging our own success and happiness at every point. But Jesus is the God who has come to set us free. Therefore, we need to repent and believe. That means change our thinking completely and start again with Jesus. We are not the solution and He is not the problem. We are the problem and Jesus is the solution. That's the truth that brings
Hi guys, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Thorny Questions. If you have any thorny questions, please do let us know. We'd love to deal with them in some future videos. And if you're enjoying our content, please do like it or subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and share it around. Share it out to your friends and your family and people you know. Sharing is caring.